some of what happens in China. The young population in China feels completely dissociated from society. They feel completely incapable of engaging in society because there are just no prospects. This is what is happening in China. China is the LED hyperspeed train economy. Everything is just, look at how many LED lights we have on our skyscrapers. Look at how many hyperspeed trains we have. It has nothing to do, no connection to wealth. People in China, in general, far poorer than people in the West.
But Zulu, they got LEDs on buildings.
Oh my god, they do have LEDs. I guess I'm wrong.
But wait. Who walked them into that obvious argument? And who walked them in? Who gave them this perfect setup to say China without pre-destroying their narrative? Like, who did that? Oh, it's the traitor. Yes.
Mm-hmm. The soy boy beta cucks.
Also, like, what a horrible argument. Who cares if there's no country with your idea? What does it mean? There used to be a country with no airplanes, just 100 years ago. Does it mean that airplanes can't exist? Retarded argument.
Yep.
Economy in the world.
Actually, per capita, it's not China at all. In fact, China's stagnating. The reason why they have a large economy is because they have 1.5 billion people.
Well, that's the rest of the
Why is their economy growing? We have to ask why their economy is growing. It's because they're opening themselves up to the free market.
First off, all production is based, like virtually all production. Trump wanted to do production here, and
my question to Mr. Soyboy Betacuck on the socialist side is, do you like sweatshops? Are you in favor of sweatshops? I am in favor of sweatshops. I like sweatshops. I think they're a good thing. If you are against sweatshops, you should think that China is evil. You should think that. You should say, no, I am against China because they employ sweatshop labor. And that's why it's bad that there's so much production there, right? Because, again, production, these people were against production just before. They were against it because that means that you're taking surplus labor value, right? Shouldn't you be against that? But no, he's for it because it's a communist nation. That's why soy boy betacuck on the communist side is a soy boy betacuck.
And don't forget the appeals to authority. Tell that to the economists. Which economists?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like there's a consensus on it either.
No. This whole approach of arguing with them, haggling with him over that is stupid. The whole point, if you want them to bite the bullet on China, there's a very simple answer, and you just have to enable their bullet biting as much as you can. I've seen it before. Basically, they say, well, China has superior economy to the United States, and then immediately they should be asked, well, why don't you move there? And they will give you an excuse. They will say, well, my grandma is here, my family is here, they don't want to move, I want to be near them, therefore I need to change the United States into. And you're like, okay, here's a hypothetical scenario. We pay each one of you $1 million to move to China permanently. You cannot ever go back. You have to stay in China, and we arrange it with the Chinese government. You go there forever, you and your entire family, and in fact, we'll pay enough to convince every single member of your family to move. Are you willing to go to China under those conditions? And they will sweat because they know they're lying.
was not successful, in part because of capital forces has somewhat of a monopoly on production. Whether that's good or not is another question.
What does that mean? Capital force as a monopoly on production. What does
so
that mean?
Every instance of production requires capital. So therefore, capitalists are evil.
It's nonsensical, even if you take it for in that direction. Like, it's not making the argument that he wants to make.
It's goodbye.
But I think the idea that we shouldn't question it because it's working for some of the people now is a concession that society can't get better. It's saying Fukuyama was right, history's over, people can easier understand the end of the world, the post-apocalypse, than they can post-capitalism. And that's because there's not that understanding or forward thinking, in my view.
It's going to cut right here.
At least looking at China, you can see.
Going to cut after he says this.
I'm not saying that it's a perfect country. I'm not saying that there's not problems with the system itself. But it is a force that I would say is pushing forward at least some form of socialism.
Look at that. Look at that. Predicted. I knew it would cut right after that. I knew it. Because he was going to deliver the fucking, like, killing blow against capitalism. No responses allowed. I knew it.
Yes.
I fucking knew it.
That's why Shabos should be like. By the way, Shabos is a very active debater in like the Israel-Palestine debate. And he is known as a competent. He's like he has his current aura is a very sharp, very competent, very learned debater, and he is on that topic. Here, he is displaying absolute setups. He's giving setups to the enemy, and that allows them to walk all over his team. So he's like a traitor here, and I'm gonna try to pressure him on X. And I think everybody else should participate in that. We should organize a campaign of just absolutely shaming him for this performance. This is embarrassing for a debater.
Especially when he's supposed to be a capitalism representative. Like, be a representative of what the fuck ever. Don't care. But be a capitalist representative, fuck you.
Monopolies prove that free markets rarely stay free. Can they agree a step forward?
What?
What? Yeah, I thought this was like a socialist layup again. I was like, why are we going back to socialism? Corporate monopolies prove that free markets rarely stay free. Let's look into that.
Here's the thing I'm really curious about. Why is Karen there?
Yeah, prove that free markets rarely stay free.
What the fuck?
I suppose maybe the idea she's going for is that indeed it is rare throughout history, given we've got all these monopolies, that free markets stay free. I think what they're getting at, though, with this question is that free markets tends towards monopolization.
That's the problem. The framing is wrong. It's too ambiguous, but we'll see now.
No, it's not wrong. Sorry, it's not ambiguous. It's a trap. So the way they formed a trap is the word rarely invites you to participate, and the word proves nails you to the wall, because the word proves is an absolute lie. The corporate monopolies do not, in fact, prove that free markets rarely stay free. Corporate monopolies are simply a thing that exists after the market gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So it's the day of the word prove here should have been to a good debater to be like, what? One moment, I know what proof is. Proof is like a syllogism where every premise is true. I don't see any premises here. I don't see any premises that are true. So I should be like cautious. I should not sit down. And they all like bite this stupid bullet.
Surprisingly enough, Shavos, our king, is still standing in the back.
It's one thing he's done right.
Thank you, Shavos. I take back everything. Actually, I don't.
Let's see.
We'll talk about middle ground.
So we all agree that within capitalism, at least currently, we need government, right?
No. Well, no.
What the fuck?
Oh my god. And here it goes. Look at the shock on her face. Yes, yes, exactly. You sat down there. Exactly. That's the trap. Shame on you. You don't get to act surprised.
It exists,
You walked into it.
For me, its main feature is to dissuade monopolization of corporations and maintain our free market so that we can continue having
Governments entrench monopolization by corporations.
They do, but is there any other mechanism of which we can get rid of monopolies from forming now?
And now you can see the infighting, which is begat by the question. Begat by that question.
Yeah.
It's dividing the house. This is, the greatest military mind, Sun Tzu, as he once said, piss off your enemy. And when your enemy is weak, you attack. And when your enemy is going to lose in a battle, then you fight that battle. And other obvious statements like that. And they're playing the Sun Tzu brilliant strategy playbook to the letter.
Naturally, other than using an outside government party.
If you're talking about corporations, they're a creature of the state. Without the state, there wouldn't be corporations. They say they're people. They're not people. They have a limited liability. If you made these corporations liable for what they're doing, you wouldn't have half of the evil. Corporations, they say money in the Bible is the root of all evil. No, corporations are the root of all evil.
Well, I would argue.
Fuck, so close. But she did say that she made the right argument. She did point out that it's the state making these issues, giving these entities rights that they do not have. That is correct. Unfortunately, the socialists also agreed that they're going to twist it.
Yep.
Yes, because the final word, the thing that she was supposed to say, somewhere in the middle perhaps of her speech so it doesn't get cut, is that the socialists believe in the biggest corporation ever. They believe in the corporate state.
Exactly.
Then that would require a law that limits the size of corporations, that limits that ability.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say the
animalize.
existence, not the size.
You can see the distinction there. The existence versus the size, because the socialists, they think that corporation just means really big company, whereas she seems to be using it in the sense of it being an arm of the state, it being part of the body of the state. That is the distinction here, which she needs to get into.
I think corporations, by their nature.
You think the ability for corporations to be formed
Yes.
is the
It gives them legal liability, people they
separation
do
of
LSE
liability,
so that when they do something crappy and they poison the well, instead the company gets fined, not the guy that poisoned the well. Because if you or I went to poison a well, the cops are knocking on our doors because we poisoned a well. But if ExxonMobil goes and poisons the atmosphere with CO2, I wonder how.
Jesus Christ! Why are you giving them ammo? Stop giving them ammo. Just
By the way,
here you go, guys. Here you go, guys, across the fucking trench for me. Here's some fucking mortar shells for you to use. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Must CO2. Yes, also, by the way, Shaba's pacing in the background. I have a sneaking suspicion of what his position will be. Le-based corporations.
Let's see.
That's an example. Nothing happens.
I think we can all agree on this one thing.
Yeah.
Big Pharma is one of them. There is basically no free market in the healthcare industry. They're all made up by monopolies. Insurance companies work together very close with hospitals, and there's no free market to really expand on, cheaper medicines or alternative ways to buy medicine, right? I think it's Singapore, for example. They have more of a free market on medicine. It's a universal free market where they can go and buy medicine at a reasonable price. Here, we don't have that because corporations work very closely with hospitals, which isn't capitalism, it's corporationism. They don't work.
Fuck. He's one word away.